At 70, Mr. Bachchan, you will make your Hollywood debut in Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby.
It's not a debut, really. It's just a gesture.
Okay.
Baz Luhrmann was touring India on a motorcycle some years ago, and I don't know. I got a message that he's in town and he wants to come by and visit me, and I wondered how he knew me and some things like that. But he came across. He had a young painter with him who'd made some paintings, lovely paintings. He presented them to me. We just sat and talked about the country and so on and so forth. And he went away. And then almost a year and a half ago, I had a call from him saying that, I'm making The Great Gatsby. And I know the role is very insignificant, but I'd be very happy if you can just play this one scene that I have in the film. And I said, fine. So I've done it more as a gesture, as a friendly gesture than anything else. It's just a very small little scene, just a few seconds.
When I made the pleasure of Mr. Gatsby's acquaintance, I discovered a man of fine breeding.
Very interesting. Everything all right?
Yes. It's a scene with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire.
That's right, yeah.
Surely they were in awe of working with the great Mr.
No, not
Bachchan.
at all. Why should we are in awe of them? They are stratospheric stars, and they have a huge standing in the world of cinema. But they're all very humble, very simple people.
Give us a sense of what it was like making this film. Is the process very similar to making a Hindi film?
The whole process of working with Baz Luhrmann was such an interesting and such a revealing experience. The amount of research, the amount of detailing, the massive production values that they put up. Each little incident, measured and researched and talked about. My scene is just a couple of seconds with Leonardo and Toby. But I was specially called to Australia, to Sydney, to Baz Luhrmann's studio. And the first 2 days we just sat in his little drawing room, the three of us, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, myself, because the scene was within us.
Right.
And we just read this scene, which took barely 5 minutes or even less to read, but we just kept reading it. And then we went, then he took all of us into a regular studio floor, onto a floor, huge floor, and there were about 40-50 chairs put in a circle, and the entire cast of the film then assembles there. And when I say entire cast, it's everybody.
Okay.
Whether they have a speaking role or not.
Right.
If there's a chauffeur, if there's a waiter, they're all there. Mm-hmm. And the entire script is read in that presence at least twice over. And each time, every little aspect of what you're doing, I mean, mine is just, literally a couple of seconds in the film. But the amount of time that he will spend, or the entire production will spend, it's the kind of material that they're going to use for your jacket, or the hat you're going to wear, or the lining of your jacket of what is going to be. You're never going to see that lining, but Gatsby falls in love with the lady in the film who's already married, as you know from F. Scott Fitzgerald's novel. And in the book, it was mentioned that her husband was a member of a club that was called Skull and Bones, and they had an insignia, that particular club.
Right.
So he lined the jacket of the husband with a lining which had this insignia. And we were just sitting on the set talking and said, nobody's ever going to see this lining,
right.
but just the feeling that, to get you into that atmosphere.
Who is this Gatsby?
Do you know him?
War hero.
Mr. Gatsby doesn't exist.
Gatsby? What Gatsby?
I beg your pardon. Mr. Gatsby would like to speak to you. Alone.
I'm certainly glad to see you again.
I'm certainly glad to see you as well.
I had to walk down a staircase with Leonardo and Toby and just walk into a restaurant and a table and sit down. And I'm playing Mayor Wolfsheim, and who's supposed to be the Jewish underworld. And I have my guards and my people around, and And while I'm walking through, the other two walk ahead, and I'm just sort of telling them, sort of playing a bit of the senior Don or something like that.
Right.
But he actually gave me lines to even mumble.
Okay.
And told the people what they were going to respond with. Okay. Even though they're miles away from the camera, nobody's ever going to probably see them. They're going to remain out of focus most of the time. But that's the kind of detailing that he instigated, and such a joy really to be in that kind of an atmosphere. And everybody follows what is being instructed. You could be Leonardo DiCaprio, you could be Tobey Maguire, you could be Carey Mulligan or anyone, but everybody just follows very diligently. Yes, we discuss, but if the discussion is fruitful for the film, then he will not waste time to incorporate it. There was a moment while we were shooting our sequence when Leonardo said, in the book, Mayor Wolsheim said this. I don't find that he said this on this dining table. I thought it was a wonderful line and maybe he should say it. And we went into this discussion, and sure enough, after a while, he said, yeah, I think we'll shoot it. So it's not just your own character that you're worried about. You're worried about the other characters as well, and the ambience and what it means to the whole film. I thought it was a fantastic experience. I've never worked in a situation like this, and I wish we could incorporate a lot of that into the working of our system.
Okay. There's been some talk that Meera Nair is keen to revive Shantaram. Mm-hmm. Is that something that she's spoken to you about?
I haven't heard from her, no. We did speak when she first came across.
Right.
And she wanted me to play the character of Khan in the book, and everything was set. She gave me a script. Dates were set aside, but then suddenly she came and said, it's off. So I'm sorry about that. I haven't heard from her then. And I wonder what is happening to.
Okay. Mr. Bachchan, I met Sridevi recently, who's just completed her first film in 15 years, English Vinglish. I know you have a cameo in the film, and I asked her about it, and she said that working with you was like meeting an old friend after many years. Is that what it felt like?
Yes, of course. Yeah, we've done several films together, and Balki just wanted me to walk in and walk out. So I readily did that. But yes, it was great. She's always been a fantastic artist, and she still is.
Okay. You haven't signed any new Hindi films for a while now.
I had a medical situation, and I knew that I wanted to keep a certain number of days off to undergo the surgery and then to recover from it, which is why I did not take on any films. I knew that I had KBC coming on from August and September, and keeping that in mind, I kept myself free for all these months. My medical condition was taken up in February, and I felt that a couple of months I need to recover from it. And now that I am taking on some films which should be on by the end of the year and early next year.
Finally, Mr. Bachchan, the newest member of your family, of course, is your granddaughter Aradhya. There's been an outpouring of love from the fans ever since she was born in November. I understand the family's desire for privacy, but she is the most famous baby on the planet. When are we likely to see a picture?
I think when she's about 18.
Any reason why, Mr. Bachchan?
Well, I don't see why so much importance is being made, and why everyone's wanting to have a look at her. When you want to meet her, you are most welcome to come to the house and see her and give your blessings.
Okay. Well, here's wishing you all the best on this new season of KBC for your personal life and your professional life. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks very much.